Okay, so what we're going to talk about today, Derek, is I understand you're uh, got a vehicle. We're going to add it in to Turo. We're going to go over some of the different preferences and options available for you in terms of listing the vehicle.
Okay.
Um, and, I'm going to go over, how to keep the vehicle most booked most of the time, some of the best practices that I use. Uh, because really the goal is to have the vehicle show up in the most amount of searches as possible. Okay. And so what I mean by that is the settings on there, and you'll see as we get into it, I want you to first go ahead and pull up and share your screen. I'm going to give you the ability to share your screen, and we'll get this vehicle added. Have you put in any of the information yet?
Yeah. Yeah, I put in the info.
So you've got the car on there, but currently you just have it where it's unlisted. It's not listed, right? You
Right.
snooze.
It's actually snoozed.
Okay. All right, cool. So you can use that snooze option too, and we'll talk about that as well. A lot of the times I use that option when I have somebody that maybe extends their trip so that nobody else can book it, because you'll get people sometimes that will extend the trip on a daily basis.
Hmm.
You don't want somebody else to book the car so that you have to check it in, because really, you know, as little work as possible, right? That's really the goal. So if you can have somebody uh, book the car and keep it for a long time, which I've had guests keep my car for some of my cars for a month. Uh,
Hmm.
that's better. So you can actually use that snooze option to where if you got somebody that says, hey, you know what, I'm trying to extend, but I don't have the money yet. I'll extend, in a couple of days. Then you can snooze the listing so that nobody else can book it, but they're still able to modify the trip. Um, so what questions did you have for me?
What to expect? Once this is listed, what's the process? Somebody, am I gonna get an email? Am I gonna get a phone call?
You're
I'm gonna
gonna
get
get
an
a
email.
you're gonna get a notification
Right.
on your phone. Make sure you turn your notifications on. You'll get a notification. And then on your phone, and then you also get an email on your phone telling you have a trip. Okay, and then you'll also see it. You'll see it inside of Turo. If you go to trips up there. Okay, and yep. Okay. So you're going to see that it's booked there. See how it says no book trips? Once you
Right.
get going, you'll see it there and it'll say you have a trip starting at X time.
Right.
Okay. Then you'll click on the trip and you'll see, once you get the trip, you'll see, how that works. Basically, there will be a button at the bottom that says check in up to 24 hours before the trip starts. It'll say check in, where you can start adding pictures and documenting the actual trip to get it set up. So, but first, we got to get the vehicle listed and have the proper pricing on it, and also
Right.
proper um, uh, settings on the car. Because, and let's do that. Go into vehicles. Okay. Now click on that car and click edit listing. So I see you've added some pictures.
Yes.
Okay. Can we go through the pictures? I want to see your pictures. Okay. I kind of, instead of that first one, because that's the first guest see this photo first. Okay. I like your second picture better. Okay. Just because it shows a little bit of the side of the car. Okay.
Yeah.
And I like, I like that one better. So there is a way to change that.
Yeah. I just moved it.
Okay. Cool. So let's hit refresh and see how that looks.
Let's see.
Okay. One thing that I might do if I were you is step back a little bit farther to have the whole car in the photo.
Yeah.
Okay. Third, I don't think it's going to matter that much. Like this will still probably book. Okay.
Yeah.
But better photos where you're step back a little bit farther in, you know, better photos might help a little bit. I mean, at this point, not too worried about it, but just a
Mhm.
heads there. Okay. So as you can
Yeah,
see here,
sure.
okay, as you can see here, the first thing is click on your calendar. Okay. So however your pricing is set up, you looks like you have um and we'll go into pricing next. But in here, you'll see where the car is booked, like for future bookings. It'll show up purple. It'll tell you when it has a booking. So you can go in. That's what the calendar is for, right?
Right.
Go to pricing and discounts. Go to automatic pricing. Click the X there.
Oh,
So, and here's where you set your pricing. Okay.
right.
Now, see, whenever you first list the car, they always put automatic pricing on. That's like the default option. Okay. So I like to leave it on. Okay.
Hmm.
But I set the minimum price as my minimum price.
Right.
What are you willing? What number are you like willing to get for this car? Okay. For me, I would probably put a minimum of like for your car, at least $49.
So should we go into Turo and search my area to see, or no?
I think if somebody could rent that car and when you went into the calendar, you can see how they had it on the weekends. See how they had it at 57. Okay. So
Yeah.
they're pretty good at maximizing the amount of dollars. Okay. So I just let them do it.
Okay.
Okay, so I just know that, I mean, if you were to get $49 a day, okay, I think you'd be happy with the car. And Turo is kind of telling you based off of your market, okay, we already know that it's probably going to get booked somewhere between 40 and $59, right?
Hmm.
I just wouldn't want it to get booked at 40, right?
Right.
Okay, so I would say 49 on the low end. Okay, and let's see how that goes. Now let's scroll down a little bit. Last minute boost pricing. Okay. I always set mine at 10%. So what that means is if they book the same day,
Hmm.
okay, you're going to get an extra 10% for that trip. So if it's $49, you're going to get an extra $5, basically $4.90 for that booking.
Hmm.
Okay. And then scroll down, see where it says 3-day discount. Okay. I always, because I want it to show some kind of a discount, okay, I always do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5%. Okay. Just because I want it to show some sort of a discount where it says save X amount of dollars. Because when the person is scrolling through, they'll see something. But
Right.
I'm not trying to give 10% off for a 3-day discount. I'm not,
Right.
I want to price my cars to where they're priced aggressively, okay, at all times. And I don't care how long their trip is, right? Like,
Hmm.
I'm not trying to give discounts.
So you would set this one to like one,
Yep, one, and
and
then
then the 1 week discount.
two,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
three, and then I do four, then I do five.
Okay. So it'll show a discount. They don't know what the discount is.
Right. It just shows that they're saving something. Okay.
Right.
Same with early bird. I normally don't do an early bird discount. You might decide that you like an early bird discount. Okay. I don't care when they book the car.
Right.
I would, and you'll see like me normally, I don't get people booking I would rather they book it last minute so I get the extra 10%.
Yeah.
So I put none on that. And then,
Right.
okay, so that's how I price my cars. Okay.
Okay.
I think in my mind, what's the lowest amount per mile I'm able to get on this car? Okay. Now remember, how many miles does the customer get? Do you know?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay. What's the minimum amount of miles that you can give a customer on your car? Well, let's go see. So I want you to hit
Let's
save
see.
here.
Is it trip preferences?
Distance included down at the bottom.
There it is.
Okay. So you have unlimited distance off. I never do unlimited distance. Okay. Ever. Yeah, you want to turn that off. Okay.
Yeah, it's off.
Okay. So how many miles per day are they allowing you to include? How many daily
Uh,
distance? They're
yeah,
giving
they're doing 200.
correct. That's the lowest you can do on an economy car. Okay. If you had a car that was valued over, I think it's like 45,000,
Mm,
okay, you can give less miles.
okay.
Okay. You can give 100 miles a day, but on these economy cars, you have to give at least 200 miles a day. Okay.
Okay.
So if you're getting, say, $49 on the low end for your car,
Mhm.
right? How much is that per mile for 200 miles?
Where's my calculator? What is that again, Mike?
Okay, let's use 50.
49. Oh, two.
You're
Oh,
getting
round it to
200
50.
miles. How much are you getting per mile if somebody is charged $50 for 200 miles? Let's use 50
What?
because it's an easy.
25 cents.
Okay. So is your car going to be profitable at 25 cents per mile? Well,
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
okay. I don't know how much you paid for the car, but
Mhm.
you have to factor all that in. So, but because each car has a certain amount of miles that are left on in its life, right?
Right.
Okay. So, and remember, not everybody is going to use the 200 miles, but that's a
Right.
worst case scenario. You're getting 25 cents a mile.
Right.
So if you can get the renter to put on 100,000 miles, that means you're going to make minimum how much for your car at your current prices? And
20, 20. Well, based on what you're saying, it's 25,000.
correct. Okay. Now, is that car still going to be worth some money after they put that 100,000 miles on there?
Yeah.
Is $25,000 more than what you paid for the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. So, assuming there's not $1 million worth of like repairs and stuff that you need to put on the vehicle, I think it's pretty safe to say that that vehicle would be profitable at 25 cents per mile.
Right.
Okay. So, one way to kind of figure out how much each mile is worth in terms of depreciation would be to go into a vehicle, okay, go on to Kelly Blue Book or whatever and use the same number and figure out if you have a car that has just say 80,000 miles on it, how much, and then you put in 80,000 as the miles, the exact same car you put in at 90,000 miles, and you see the difference in the value
Yeah.
of the car, right?
Right.
So
Right.
you can kind of see how much each 10,000 in miles, how much the car depreciates for those 10,000 miles.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, but I would say, and I mean, I don't know what you paid for the car, and we don't have to go over that. Okay. But I would say that car is probably going to be profitable, at 25 cents a mile, I would think. I mean,
Yes.
yeah. So that's that's how I price all my cars. If it's not going to be profitable, okay, I look at how many miles are left. Okay. I kind of look at once it's got 200,000 miles. Okay. It's going to be worth pretty close to zero. Okay. So how much do I need to get per mile? Okay. To be profitable? Well, this car's got 60,000 miles left. Okay. Then it's going to be worth close to zero. So that's how I figured in my mind to, okay, well, yes, this car is going to be profitable. Okay. But to me, 25 cents per mile on that car that you bought, I'm assuming you got a good deal because that's what you do. Um, that should be profitable at 25 cents per mile.
Hmm. But we can't. I don't have a choice to lower it anyway.
Yeah, we what do
It
you
was
mean?
defaulted to 200.
Correct. Yes. So you always factor it based off the minimum 200. But yes, you could go back into pricing and discounts and you could put the minimum you're willing to accept for your car is $59 a day.
Mm, and it'll change that other screen
Well, yeah.
mileage.
Well, then now at 59 miles a day, you're getting 30 cents a mile, aren't you? Minimum.
Right. Right.
Okay. So that's how I price mine, right? Is I only worry about the minimum price and I price it at a number that I think it's going to get booked at.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, again, I don't know your market, but I would think your specific car, especially with, it's got leather, it's got moonroof. I mean, not moon, does
No.
it have a moonroof?
No. No moonroof.
But
Leather
it's got
navigation.
leather nav, okay,
Heated.
heated air conditioned seats.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got some nice features, Bluetooth, backup camera.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's a nice car. So to me, that's at least a $50, 49 $50 a day car.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would be pricing it in my market, and let's just run it and see how it goes in yours. Because
Mm-hmm.
the only way we're going to find out if we're priced too high is what? It doesn't get any bookings.
Right.
Okay. But that car will probably still be profitable at 40, not as profitable, but it'll still be profitable at a lower price per day. But let's try to maximize it in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go. So we looked at pricing and discounts. Let's go to location and delivery. This is where you can offer delivery to maybe airports that are around you. How
Mm-hmm.
how far is the airport from you?
It's like 25 minutes.
You're probably not going to want to mess with that on this car.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, you
don't
can
worry.
see it. It's up here.
Yeah, yeah.
Not far, but it's
Okay,
not horrible.
but let's add that just so you can see because you can charge them for delivery.
Right.
Okay, so let's just add the airport as a delivery location.
Where you right here?
What does it say?
Custom location offer delivery to where your guests choose within a specific radius.
Okay, that is for people there locally.
Hmm.
Okay, so yes, let's click on that and hit edit. This is where you can basically choose to deliver the car to them so they don't come to the house.
Right.
You can pick a radius, like what did you pick there?
It's defaulted to 10 miles.
Okay, now you're saying now you're giving it to them for free.
Yeah, no, that's what it defaulted to.
Okay, yeah, never going to be free to deliver.
No, I know.
I would do a minimum of 50 and then I do like within a 5 mile radius because I don't really want to deliver. If I'm going to
Right.
deliver, it's got to be worth my time.
Worth your time, convenient.
Right,
5 miles is not too bad to make $50.
right. Because then you could Uber home for say 15, Uber there to go pick it up for 15. Now you're at 30. So at least you made $20 for your 20 minutes maybe of time.
Right.
Okay. Most of my cars, I just don't do delivery, but this is where you change delivery for your local radius. And then if you hit save, even the cars that I do offer delivery on, very rarely does it make sense for them because most people are just going to Uber to the location or get dropped off.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay. And the next one says custom locations.
Well, that's where we were just
No.
in.
Add delivery location by browsing on the map. You'll be able to set your delivery fee and delivery instructions. Okay, where's the edit button there? Click on that one.
There's no edit button there, but it just says browse the map, and I don't know.
Click on the airport.
Yeah, now it opened up to
Yep,
deliver to the airport.
right. So
But we're not doing that.
I'm not delivering to the airport unless it's $120. And I probably wouldn't do it to that. That is the most amount you can charge for delivery is $120.
Hmm.
So you might say, some point you're okay with delivering to the airport for $120. Like, I don't know, maybe your kid follows you or something. Like,
Yeah,
it's
but
not
I
bad.
don't see. Yeah, but I don't see why they would want that. You know,
You
why
never,
would the customer pay $120 to have it delivered? Are
well,
they in time restraint?
oh,
Restraints?
they do.
Wow.
Joe has had people that live, I've had people that live, 10 miles away from me that have paid $120 to have me deliver it. Right.
Wow.
Now, is it smart to do? No. Okay. But if they choose that option, I'm willing to do it. Like, you can put that option on there. If you're willing to deliver it for 120, it's going to show up in more searches. You got people looking at the airport, it's going to show up there.
Hmm.
So, whether you want to add the airport or not is totally up to you, but that's where you would add that option.
Right. And I can decline it, right? If they reach out, say, hey, will you deliver it to me? Oh,
There is no more declining. If they book it, they book it. You're expected to deliver on that booking.
got it.
Okay. So if you don't want to deliver, then turn it off.
Yeah. I'll revisit that.
Yeah. Okay. So that's location and delivery where you can. So the first one is offer delivering, to a certain area around your location, and it's by the, you know, the, as the crow flies, it might be a little bit more than 5 miles if you pick 5 miles. Okay. But if somebody goes in and they're searching for only cars that can get delivered, now at
Right.
least your car is going to show up.
Okay.
Okay, for that search, because some people do search specifically for cars that can be delivered. Okay, so um, but if you find that you're getting a lot of people that want delivery and it's just a total pain in the butt, well, then you need to turn it off.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, if I've got something scheduled and I'm in the middle of something and somebody books for me to deliver it, I got to deliver it.
Absolutely, because if you
So,
don't deliver it, it's going to affect your metrics and you have to cancel the trip. You do not want to do that.
right.
Okay. So the options, okay, should be picked with that in mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, especially with you starting off, it's very important that you're delivering on every single trip.
Right.
Okay. Like, there's no canceling trips. Okay. There's no, oh, I wasn't ready, yada, yada, yada. And you'll see that there's options where we can pick in trip preferences, which is the next one down. Let's go to that one. Okay. This is where you can pick. Okay. So, what I do, because I've got it in place, and what do I want as the host? I want my car to show up in as many searches as possible, right? Okay. So I do 1 hour advance notice. So if you go into my area, okay, and you're searching for a car, okay, and you need a car from an hour from now,
Mhm.
most people have the advance notice as, you know, 5, 6 hours because they can't get away from their job or from whatever they're doing. They can't do it. So they put a longer advance notice. Okay.
Right.
My cars are ready every day. I take a picture of them every day. So if it gets booked, guess what? It can be ready in 5 minutes.
Right.
Okay. So I do an hour so that, but you got to make sure that your cars are ready. And whether you're home or not, you can deliver that car to them. Right. So you have to have some sort of contactless delivery set up to where when you're not home, your car's still there with the, you know, a lockbox in the window or something to where you can give them access to the car and you've already taken pictures of the car that day. Right.
Right.
Okay. The next one is a trip buffer. What that is the amount of time in between trips. How much time do you need to clean the car? Okay.
Mhm.
So if somebody brings the car back at noon, the way you have it set up is 3 hours, right?
Right.
Okay. If somebody has a car until noon, okay, say a week from now, they're supposed to return it at noon. Well, your car would not show up in a search until 3 o'clock
Right.
for the people that are searching on that day that it's supposed to be returned. So
Yeah.
if you have it set up for 3 hours. To me, that's fine. That's what I use. I want the lowest amount of time possible so that my car shows up in the most amount of searches possible, and I'll make sure that it gets ready. Okay. I have
Mhm.
I have had some times where people did not return the car on time. It just happened last night. This guy was supposed to return the car at 5:30. Okay, there was another booking at 8 o'clock. Okay, car wasn't returned. I had to get the other person in another car. I called Turo and said, hey, car's not going to be back in time. We need to cancel this booking and get them in another car. They canceled it. It did not affect my metrics. I didn't cancel it in the app. I called them to do it. So it didn't affect my metrics or anything. It didn't look like I was canceling the trip. It wasn't my fault. I had to cancel. The other guest didn't bring the car back.
Right.
Okay. But yes, I do a trip buffer of 3 hours. Okay.
Mhm.
Shortest trip, longest trip. Okay. I don't do anything on longest trip. You can
Do
have,
any?
yeah, you can have my car for as long as you want it. Okay. And shortest trip, 1 day, that's fine. Okay. What does that say? Delivery, what? Location?
Locations?
Okay, there you go. That's where you can add a delivery location. You can add the airport there too.
Right. Yeah, it's the same screen that we were just at.
Right.
So
Okay, so let's go back to trip preferences.
yeah.
Okay. And then what does it say? Custom.
Location up to 5 miles.
Yep.
So
And what does it say underneath that? Um,
advance notice 1 day,
okay.
trip buffer 3 hours. So same as this section over here.
Right, but that's only for delivery.
Custom, right, exactly.
Okay. So you can change that, right? If
Mhm.
you find yourself, hey, I want at least 1 day advance notice on any time delivering.
Right.
Okay. But yes, you know, um, if you want to deliver, you got to figure out what you want to put in there too. I mean, I think
Yeah.
those are fine, but you know, I want to show up. And when I'm selecting these preferences, me personally, okay, because I can, okay, I want to show up in as many searches as possible. So I put as low advance notice as possible, lowest trip as possible. I allow them to book for 1 day, even though I don't like 1 day bookings. A lot of the 1 day bookings turn into multiple day bookings that they just keep extending and extending and extending.
Mhm.
Okay. So I don't mind doing 1 day bookings. You might find in your market though that it's just too much of a pain. It's not worth your time to make that 40, some dollars for that 1 day. You might end up changing that setting. I don't know. But this is where you change the setting for that. And you can make it to where um, I do like the minimum weekend trip duration. I do like to require that on the weekends at least to be 2 days because you'll have somebody book a car for 1 day on a Saturday. Okay. And now, on a short 1 day trip for a Saturday, and then the car never, it's like booked for that day. And now it's not showing in other people's longer trips. Do you see what I'm saying? Because once it gets booked, it's not showing in anybody else's searches for that specific day. Okay. So,
Mm,
if I have somebody that a month from now books my car for 1 day on a Saturday, I'm going to be pissed, right? Because now nobody can book it, you know, it's just 1 day. It's like sitting there and, now it's not showing in a bunch of these other searches that people are looking for a car for multiple days. So I do like to require at least a 2 day minimum on the weekend personally, but
yeah.
that's up to you. Okay.
Okay.
And that will lose you on some 1 day searches.
Right.
Okay. But
Right. So that's the other catch. Yeah.
right. Um, so that's what I always do. I always leave the 2 day minimum, but maybe if you're starting off, just leave it uh, off for now until you can, because you just need some reviews and some trips under your belt so you get a feel for what's going on, right?
Right. Right.
Okay, so that's what the 2 day minimum is. You can require them if they're booking on either Saturday or Sunday, they have to book for at least 2 days.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's the trip preferences. Are there any questions there? And again, the whole point of the way that I set it up is I want to show up in as many searches as possible.
Right. Right. No, no, no question. Actually, the only question I have is 1 hour notice. Is there a time frame where they're allowed to book? I mean, if they're at 2 o'clock in the morning and they want to pick up a car at 1 o'clock in the morning,
We're gonna go over that. I'm gonna show you where
okay,
I'm gonna show you where you change that.
got it.
There are at the account level, there is a way for you to have pickup and return hours.
Mm,
Okay, so I set mine really, really late.
yeah.
Okay. And then at the end of the night, when I'm done working and I know I don't want anybody to book for tonight,
Right.
I just add unavailability on the vehicle. And you'll see, I'll show you, it's at the account level where you set that up. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's go to guest instructions. Okay. Share any special instructions about pickup and return, like where to find the car and how to get to the keys, applies to all trips except those at delivery locations, which have separate instructions. Okay. So here is where you're going to explain to them how the pickup and drop off works. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how you're going to do it. Again, I do contactless 100%. I never meet with, I don't want to say never because sometimes I'm just there when they get there anyway, but
Right.
I do contactless pickup and contactless drop off. So you're going to want to explain to them how your process works and you're going to want to
Okay.
type that out there. Okay. Welcome message. This is a must. Okay. What I say in my welcome message is, hey, it's Mike, and I'll show you here in a second. I'm going to show you how I have automatic messages set up. Okay. But the welcome message is a must. As soon as they book, they get a message from you inside of Turo in their inbox. And it's basically, hey, it's Derek. Thanks for booking with us. You know, um, you know, if you need to get a hold of me, here's my phone number. You can reach me at this, and then like what the next steps are. And
Mhm.
you'll see my welcome message. I'll show you here in a second. And then
Okay.
car guide. Okay. I don't ever put anything in there for the car guide. It's like the car works. It's a rental car. I'm not going to go over, you know, how to use the car, but maybe there's something that you want to, explain there. That's a car guide. That'll
Mhm.
basically, after they book, they'll get them, same thing. They'll be able to see that information if they want to read it. Okay. I never put anything in there, but pick up and return instructions, I don't put anything in there either. I just do it through messaging, but I do have a welcome message for everyone. Okay. Everybody gets the same initial welcome message. And I'll show you what mine is here in a minute.
So you don't have, so you just have a welcome message. You don't have pick up and return instructions. You tell them over the phone.
I tell them in the messaging,
Oh,
in
so
the
you
welcome
have it
message.
just in the one spot.
Yeah, I have it in the welcome message.
Got it.
I have a long list of, if you go and you go in, okay, let's go there. Actually, let me show you what I'm doing here. Scroll up and go to messages at the top, inbox, scheduled messages.
There
There
we
it
go.
is. Create new template. Okay. So instead of putting the welcome message and all of that stuff over on that other one, I set it
Mhm.
all up here. So the first thing is, what does that say? Add a name.
Oh, add a name to help you identify each template to stay organized. Don't worry, guests won't see the name.
Right. So I would do the first one as welcome message.
Oh, so you type actual welcome message.
Yeah. So and you'll see how it works. Welcome message. Okay. So this is just telling you when you go in, once we set up this first template, you're going to
Mhm.
have a list of other messages that get sent out automatically as well. So you'll know if you need to edit the welcome message for all of your cars, right? You'll know
Mhm.
that this is the welcome message. So that's more just for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's telling you this is just an automatic message. Like we have for our business, we have the automatic emails that get sent out, right?
Mhm.
That's all you're doing is you're creating an automatic message that when somebody books your car based off of what you are going to tell Turo here, okay, they're going to send out the message. So describe what you want to automatically be triggered. So let's click that first drop down box. Okay. So now when the trip, I always do trip booked for the welcome message. Okay. Choose a time. I always do immediately after the trip was booked. Right.
Mhm.
So now
Yep.
this message is going to go out immediately. Okay. I say apply to all trips, but you can see, right, that you can pick if you go up. So at some point, you might have another car, okay,
Right.
that you
Yep.
do deliveries on, okay, that you can add on, a different one for one that's getting delivered to the airport or something, right? Okay. So
Mhm.
apply to all trips. Good. Now in here, okay, first I want you to type add the at sign. See where it says type at? Okay. So the first one is guest's first name. Okay. So now Turo automatically generates the guest's first name in that message. Okay.
Right.
So I always started off with their first name. Okay.
Right.
And then it's, hey, thanks for renting my car and whatever you want to tell them in the first message to them. Okay.
So just right here,
Yep.
or it doesn't have to be the next line.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Corey wrote mine. So, I mean, so again, mine says, let me just read you what mine says. Mark, the guest's name. Thanks for renting with the Rumples. Please read this entire message for important trip details. And then I say, your trip starts. Okay.
Mhm.
Yep. And then I say, your trip starts April 12th at 6 p.m. Now that's automatically generated.
Right.
Okay. So if you click do at again. Nope. It's got to be a separate word. Okay. See all the different, you could reservation location, vehicle make, model, license plate. All of these things will automatically populate based off of what you have inside of the thing, right?
Yeah, I see.
Right. Your trip starts at reservation start time. Right. And then I say you are picking up the vehicle at, and then I put in the pickup
Right.
drop off location, right? And then I tell them, if you're picking up in Girard, the vehicle is parked behind Center Point Church. Your trip includes 400 miles. If you go over the reservation distance included, it's not a problem. But you will be billed for the additional miles after your trip is completed at the additional fee, right? Okay. And then I
So
say, this is a contactless delivery, which means we will not be meeting with you at the location for pickup. Within 24 hours of your trip start, Turo will request you to verify your identity. This is required before keys can be released to you. Follow the Turo notification and steps. Again, this happens 24 hours prior to your trip starts. When your identity has been verified, we will send you instructions on how to access the keys. And then I tell them all of our vehicles have a membership to Mod Wash where you can clean the vehicle for free during your trip if you wish. We don't require it, but offer it as a perk. If you clean the vehicle before return, we'll give you 10% off of your next trip. Then I say tolls. Any tolls incurred during this trip are your responsibility. If we receive a toll, you will be invoiced through Turo to pay after your trip is completed. Parking tickets or speeding tickets incurred are also your responsibility. Gas. Vehicles are provided with a full tank of gas. Please return the vehicle full. If not returned full, there is a $10 refueling charge plus the cost of full fuel. If for some reason the tank is not full on pickup, you are responsible to only fill to the level that it was picked up as documented in our photos. Mike will reach out to you shortly to answer any of your questions. In the meantime, if you want to call or text, he can be reached at, and I put my phone number on there.
right,
Okay.
right.
That's my welcome. That's my welcome message.
Yeah.
What you want to say in the welcome message is totally up to you.
Okay.
And then what I do is once normally just there's a couple of reasons why I call them. Okay. Number one, a lot of my guests are first time renters. Okay. And so I want them to, be comfortable with the process and answer any questions that they have. Okay.
Mhm.
I also want to make sure that the phone number that they have listed on their Turo account, I can actually get a hold of them. Okay.
Right.
Because I got to be able to get a hold of them. So if the phone number's not right and I'm not able to get a hold of them, I always verify that the phone number on the account is the right phone number. If it's not, I make them change it so that it works.
Mm.
Okay. And then on that call, I go over the expectations with them so they can't be mad at me at the end of the trip if they get a bill for something, right?
Right.
Tell them you get this many miles. If you go over, you're going to be billed at this amount of miles. I'm not going to be mad at you. It's just you have to, you got to pay the bill, right? Like, also, I tell them, listen, there's a no smoking policy. I tell them, bring the car back without any evidence and I can't charge you for smoking. Okay. But if there's evidence, guess what? Don't be mad at me when you get the bill. Okay. You should have cleaned up after yourself. So I tell everybody that. Okay. On that call. And then I explain to them how they're going to get access to the keys. Once they verify their identity, I'm going to send them a message on how to access the keys. Okay. Now I know that I can get a hold of them on that phone number. Plus, they know that it's a real person that they're renting from, not like some company, right? And just get to know them, a little bit better, and it's just a better overall experience for them. I believe. Okay.
Yeah.
If you might decide you don't want to talk to them at all, well, then your automatic messages should be on point.
Right.
Because I could probably set it up, and I'm probably going to get to that point to where it is going to be that way, where I'm not going to reach out to them. But at this point in time, I'm not big enough to where it's stressing me out calling them. Now I get past customers and I don't call them normally, but if it's a new customer, I'm always trying to reach out, make sure that I've got all the correct information and that they're good to go and they understand the process. Does that make sense? All right. So this is where you set up the automatic messages. Okay. Definitely. Here's the automatic messages that I have. Okay.
What is that? The fee for smoking? What was that? You said you're going to be charged, but
It's
what
$150. I just got one the other day.
did you really?
Yeah. If you can provide evidence that
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have before pictures and your before pictures are on point, okay, and then they
Right.
bring the car back and you can provide evidence that there was smoking in the car, which is ashes, you know,
Right.
cigarette butt or whatever, okay, then you bill them for smoking. It's
Right.
$150.
Okay.
There's also a cleaning fee if they puked in the car, or it's more dirty than normal. You can also charge. There's a cleaning fee as well. Never gotten a cleaning fee. Actually, I did one time. Okay, but yes, there is a fee if they bring the car back after. There's a no smoking policy.
Right. Yeah, just when on that phone call, if we're going over everything, it'd be good to know what that cleaning fee is. I got the smoking fee, what's so they have to bring it back in a respectable manner, I'm assuming. And that's why we
Well, here's the thing. Okay, they don't have to bring it back clean.
right.
But if there is an over and abundance amount of dirty, okay, then yes, you can charge them. But it's not for just like a little bit of dirt on the floor. Okay. What I see in this group that I'm in, you got people charging people cleaning fees for something that will take them 5 minutes to vacuum up and clean up. Okay.
Hmm.
Like, come on, dude. Why would you do, you know what I'm saying? Just clean the car. You got to clean the car anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't typically even worry about the cleaning fee unless it's something like, major.
Right.
Okay. But yes, there is a way to get a cleaning fee. But, you start nickel and diming these customers. What do you
Mhm.
want? Do you want
Right.
repeat customers, or do you want to try to make, an extra 150? But like, there's been customers that have brought the car back and I know they smoked in it, and I could have probably have gotten them for a smoking fee. Okay. But at least they brought it back somewhat decent. I don't really care. I'm not trying to get that $150. I would rather they just continue to rent off of me. So I don't even charge the smoking fee unless it's egregious.
Right. Right. Yeah, but you brought up a good point of the throwing up.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, somebody takes a dump in one of my cars, okay, and leaves a turd in the back seat. I'm charging a fee.
Right. But what is do you get to choose that fee or no? It's
No,
set by
it's a set fee and it's got to get approved by Turo. And it is not an easy fee to get approved. You got to be able to provide proof of it.
right.
So
But
there's
I'm saying in order
good
to
initial photos and good photos within 24 hours of the trip ending of showing what that excessive dirtiness looks like.
right. But do you know so if I'm talking to them about that, do you know what that fee is?
Yeah, I mean I never charge it, but yes, you can just Google
Right.
Turo cleaning fee.
Okay, got it. All right.
It's
Now
this
I
for
get what you're
everybody.
saying.
You don't get to pick what that fee is.
Right.
Cleaning fee. Let's see. 150.
Okay, so it's the same thing as yeah. No, I just you know me, I like to just be on point, explain everything, whether I go through it or not. Hey, like you said, we went over everything on the phone call. That way, there's no surprises.
Right. And I let them all know, like I said, one of the things that I say, people think I'm crazy for doing it, okay, but I tell almost everybody the first time I talk to them, like, hey, listen, there's a no smoking policy. Okay, if you're going to smoke in the car, clean up after yourself so I can't
Right.
charge you. Okay, because if I find evidence, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to charge you. Okay, so don't leave the evidence, please,
Yeah.
because I don't want to have to charge you.
Hmm.
So I tell everybody that, and it's fair enough, like, and I do. If I have the evidence, I'm charging the fee. Like the one that
Yeah.
I got the other day, I got $150, left a half smoked cigar in the car, like right there. All I had to do was just take a picture of that half smoked cigar on the floor of the car. And I
Yeah.
had a picture of that exact part of the car in the pre trip photos. Now, when I submit it, okay, it's not on me to charge it and it's not on them to accept that. Okay. It's the policy. I provided proof, I get paid. Turo paid me out on it.
Right.
And then it's up to Turo to collect from the guest. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So, yeah, you can set those up and you don't necessarily need those to be set up the exact way that I have mine set up. Okay.
Right.
Yours could be just real quick. Hey, it's Derek. I'm going to be reaching out. Here's my phone number. If you want to talk to me before your trip, I'll be reaching out before within 24 hours of your trip start. Uh,
Mhm.
Talk soon.
Right.
Thanks for renting my car or whatever. Okay. So that's where you set up automatic messages. That is going to be a way for you to save a lot of time by setting up some good automatic messages.
Right.
Okay. And your
Yeah.
guests won't even realize that the funny thing is most people don't even realize that it's an automatic message, but it is.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's where you set that up. So let's go back into, okay. So we looked at guest instructions. Okay. Photos, we got those. What's the next one? Details.
That's just the details on my car. In a
Okay.
car, in the description, you have to put a minimum amount. So I already got something in there. Um,
Okay. So I might say, the Edge Titanium is, the highest end trim in that model year, something like that. But
mhm.
that's fine. I mean, honestly, I don't
Yeah.
know how much the description really even matters.
Right. Right.
Okay, but you do have, okay, leather, heated seats, navigation. Doesn't it have air conditioned seats?
Um, I'm not 100% sure.
All right, scroll down.
I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Yep, that's good. One thing you don't want in the description that I see a lot of people putting in the description is, hey, they're making up stuff. Oh, bring the car back clean or else you'll be charged this fee. Like, no, you won't. Okay. Like, and, or strict no smoking policy, you'll be charged, $150 if you smoke in the car. Okay. It is what it is. There's no reason to put that in the description. Okay.
Hmm.
So I think your description is fine. It's pretty close to the way that I actually do mine.
Hmm.
Okay, so that is what people see when they click on your car and they see the description, and then I just leave it in the car.
Hmm. Okay.
But let's go into extras. Okay, so you can charge an amount, like you could charge for extras here. If you want to include a child seat, you can charge for that seat daily if you want. If you want to maybe offer unlimited mileage, maybe you charge an extra $50 a day to give them unlimited mileage instead of just 200. Okay.
Hmm.
Pre- Prepaid refuel. Okay. I would make that pretty close to the amount that it's going to cost you to fill it up. Okay. But I do have prepaid fuel on mine. Okay. Because if somebody doesn't want to have to require, prepaid refuel, go ahead. Quantity one. Okay. I just leave that there. And then however much,
So instead of them filling it up, they're willing to just pay me the whatever.
yep, at the beginning of the trip that you get that included in the trip to.
Right.
Okay, so I normally make that about how much it's going to cost me to refill it all the way to the brim, because some of them might bring it back with a half a tank, but they pay for the full tank. It's really not worth it for people to get that because it's only an extra $10 if they don't fill it up anyway. So, like,
Right.
I tell my guests in a message to them before they drop the car off at the end, I tell them, hey, if you don't have time to get fuel, it's not a big deal. I'm not going to be mad at you. Just don't fill it up and I will fill it up and I'll charge you the cost to fill it up plus
Yeah.
an extra $10. I'm almost trying to get them not to fill it up
Right.
because I
Right.
want that extra $10 because I'm going to have to probably, go clean the car anyway. And I'm cool with spending, you know, 5 minutes of my time to go fill the car up to get $10.
Yeah.
So, but prepaid fuel, I have had some people do the prepaid fuel, and I always make it about the total cost to fill the car up is my cost to add prepaid fuel. If you want to add it, great. I don't do any other extras though. There are
Hmm.
some people that offer, other extras like car seats. We did offer car seats for a little while. I took them off. Nobody really ever booked them, and it was just too much of a pain. for me, like I just decided it wasn't worth it.
So you have to find out how much it costs to fill up the car.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't have to be out that exact amount, right? But you should know how many gallons go in. You should be able to see how many gallon fuel tank that Edge holds,
Yeah.
multiply that by the cost of fuel. And you'll find most people are not going to buy that anyway.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if they want to, they can. So that's what extras are.
Hmm.
We already went into distance included. Let's look at distance included.
Yep.
Again, we already went to that. I never do unlimited mileage. It's just super risky, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like super risky. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it if I'm going to do unlimited mileage, I'm going to do it as an extra. And it's going to be basically double my daily price, because what are the odds that somebody's going to drive it more than 400 miles in a day?
Hmm.
Like, I'd rather just know that I'm not going to lose money on a trip. Okay. Because you do unlimited mileage and someone turns around and drives it at 60 miles an hour for 24 hours. Okay. That's 1,440 miles
Yeah.
that they just put on the car, and you got $50 for that. Well, now you might be losing money. So I never offer unlimited distance.
Hmm.
And, it could be profitable if you were in a tourist town,
Hmm.
because Turo does reward people for offering unlimited mileage, because it is a nice, somebody sees, oh, look, this has unlimited mileage. Okay. So they reward you and they might show you higher in the, search. Okay. But you can really get screwed offering unlimited mileage. You get
Yeah.
so I just don't offer it.
Hmm.
And then the last one is the vehicle protection. And this is where you choose your protection plan. Right now, you're on the 75 plan. So
Right.
what that means is Turo, if you get $50 a day, if you're at 49 a day, let's say on the low end, okay, let's just use 50 because it's an easy number, please.
Right.
Okay, to use in math, even I can do that in my head. Okay. So if you're getting $50 a day, how much are you getting after Turo takes their cut on the 75 plan?
Um, 37.50.
50. Right. Okay. Now, with that plan, your deductible is only $250, meaning here's the thing, and let me explain to you these protection plans. Number one, Derek, this is not insurance. It's not the same as insurance.
Hmm.
Okay. Your protection plan has nothing to do with the guest insurance plan. Okay. Because they're picking their own insurance plan anyway. Okay. Through Turo. They're paying for an insurance plan more than likely. And you're paying Turo to protect the car in a worst case scenario where you cannot work it out with the guest. Okay. And it's only protecting your car. Okay. It's not protecting the other car that the person runs into.
Hmm.
That other car is protected through Turo. Okay. So, like, they have minimum protection through Turo when they're driving the car. Like, you're not going to get sued. It's not likely that you're going to, it's not your fault that your guest runs into somebody else.
Hmm.
So, this protection plan covers you for if in a worst case scenario, you can't settle with the guest and the guest is refusing to pay you for damage that they made to your car, Turo is going to pay you regardless. Okay. But you're going to have to pay the first 250. So if that damage costs you $1,000 to fix,
Hmm.
your own, and what you do is you submit, a quote for how much it costs to fix the damage. You're only going to get $750 from Turo.
Right.
Okay. The damage costs 200 to fix. You're not going to get anything from Turo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you're only going to have to pay that deductible when you go through Turo's insurance. Okay. So if your car is damaged during the trip, okay, the guest also is responsible for a certain amount of damage. Most people choose the minimum protection. Okay. And you'll see when somebody books with you, you can see which protection plan they chose. Okay. So if somebody books with you and they get into a wreck, most of them choose the minimum protection, which means they have a maximum of $3,000 out of pocket before Turo comes in and says, okay, that's the most you have to come up with out of pocket. So if the damage is $1,000, okay, they have to pay that $1,000 regardless. They're responsible for your car. So if you go through Turo to do it, it actually ends up costing them more because we have to pay Turo to do it for us. Okay. So the best thing is for your guest is to settle with you and to pay you outside of Turo and to settle with you outside of Turo. And Turo gives you 20 days to settle with the guest before you have to make that decision to go through Turo to pay the deductible. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the options for the guest? Okay. The options for the guest are you either pay me or you're going to owe Turo. Like you've already signed up. You've already, like, we've got it documented. You wrecked my car. You damaged my car. You're responsible for my car. Okay. The damage was $1,000. Give me $1,000 and we're good. Okay. Now you don't have to even pay the deductible through Turo. You settled up with them. Or they can go through their insurance. Hey, does your insurance cover you while you're driving somebody else's car? Yes. Okay, well, let's submit a claim through your insurance company. You pay your deductible that you would normally have to pay anyway. They'll fix my car. And the insurance company will send you $1,000 to fix your car, or they'll pay to have your car fixed. Right? Okay, so if you look at my numbers over the last, years, okay, and the amount of revenue that I've done, I'm on the 90 plan. Okay. I've done now a total, I can tell you, 84 plus 40, 120. I've done about $150,000 worth of revenue over the last 2.5 years. You know how many times I've paid a deductible? So let me ask you this. What is the difference in revenue that I've gotten on the 90 plan compared to the 75? What's 15% of 150,000?
22,500.
Okay. So what is the deductible on the 90 plan?
2,500.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Okay. So I have made an extra 22,500, right? In revenue. I mean, that's your math. Let me make sure. 150, 10% would be 15, 70. Yep. 22.5. You're right. I just had to keep you right on the math. Okay. So, and my deductible is only 2,200 more, right? So I paid, if I was on the 75 plan, I would be $20,250 less in revenue. So, okay, so I now have, because I didn't choose, I chose the 90 plan. I now have two other cars that are out there producing revenue because I have $20,000 more than what you would have at the 75 plan. So I choose the 90 plan. But again, over time, I mean, there's no way I could lose. I mean, I've got 8 deductibles that I could pay. I'd have to have my whole fleet get wrecked and not be able to file a claim or work it out with the guest. Okay. The odds of that to me happening are very slim. Okay. So some will say, oh, well, I'm on the 60 plan. Okay. So my car is anything, I don't have any deductible. Okay. Or I'm on the 75 plan. I get things fixed. Okay. Well, what I'm saying is if I get a little ding in the car, I'm not going to be sweating on the guest anyway for something small anyway. And you can't even get that back anyway. Okay. And I don't care. I wouldn't get it fixed anyway. So why am I gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. I just want to be protected if the car is majorly damaged anyway. Give me my revenue. Okay. Because over time, I've already seen over time, the 90 plan is where it's at. Now, I hate to tell you that. And then for some reason, whatever you get, some bad customers in a row. But to me, over time, unless I've gotten super, super lucky, where I have had some claims, but most of the time I work it out with the guest, okay, and they're gracious. They know they wrecked my car, okay, like they take care of it, or it was somebody else that ran into my guest. It wasn't even my guest's fault, and I go through their insurance company. I've only gone through Turo one time for a damage claim. Why in the hell am I going to let them keep 15% of my revenue? No, thank you. Okay. I go with the 90 plan. What you do is totally up to you. Okay. Told Joe the same thing. Okay. He ended up, it was funny because what had happened was is a guest ended up getting into an accident. Okay. But guess what? It wasn't his guest's fault. It was the other person's fault, the accident. So, he was worried at first. He was like, oh man, I'm glad I didn't change my plan like you told me to. And I go, dude, you don't want to go through Turo anyway. You want to go through the person that was at fault for the accident because you're not going to have to pay the deductible. So then and guess what? He didn't have to pay Turo's deductible. He went through the person that was at fault. They covered his vehicle. So he's not paid a deductible yet.
Mm.
Right. So do what you want. I choose the 90 plan. I mean, you know, obviously it's the way I see it is no risk it, no biscuit. And I've looked at it over my 600 trips or however many trips I have. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
90 plan is what makes sense for me on all of my vehicles. I do it on all of them.
It sounds like it's something that should be discussed in the beginning of the phone call too. Hey, listen, if you get it, if you're in an accident, it's your fault, or you get hit, kind of explain, hey, don't panic, just report it. We'll go after the person who hit you. Um, like it sounds like it should be discussed real
Yeah.
quick
Yeah. I do.
because
So
people panic,
yeah. Yeah. What I,
people
what
panic
I
and make
tell
bad
them is,
decisions.
hey, no big deal. Accidents happen. Just let me know. We'll work it out together. Okay. Um,
Right.
you know, yeah, I just
Yeah.
make them aware that it's not a huge deal. It's something that we deal with, and accidents happen, and we'll work it out together. I'm not gonna do anything unethical with you. And I want to do what's right for both of us because it costs both of us money if we go through Turo.
Right.
We don't want to go through Turo. Trust me.
Right.
So yes, that's definitely something you could talk about on that call. I don't
Mhm.
normally. I wait for them to disclose the damage, and then I just let them know, hey, don't worry about it. This is how it's going to
Mhm.
work. This is how it's going to work. And it's been fine.
Mhm. I also read that if you have a car in Turo, you should contact your insurance company, and since you want the least amount for your monthly payment, increase your deductible as much as you can, since you're not using your own insurance anyway,
Of course.
right? So you might as well get that lower monthly.
Yeah, I have most of mine at $2,000 deductible, and
Got it.
my cash cars, the cars that I own cash that aren't on a loan because you have to have full coverage on a loan, but a lot
Hmm.
of them I have set up just on liability.
Mm,
I don't even have
wow.
I don't have collision on them because I'm never driving them, and the only time I would ever do an insurance claim is if I was driving them.
Right.
So yeah, my total I'm paying like and I just have regular insurance. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell the insurance company that I'm doing Turo unless they ask. If they were to, I mean, my insurance provider knows that I'm doing it. Okay. But, what do they need to know that for?
Yeah, it's not, you're not ever submitting a claim through them of
Right.
somebody else driving your car.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
Exactly. So
Hmm.
you just have to kind of understand how, and this is not insurance. This is a protection plan for you.
Right.
In a worst case scenario, okay, you're going to have your cars covered, with a $2,500, you're going to have to pay up to the first 2,500. But that doesn't mean that you have to do that. You don't want
Right.
that's a worst case scenario. What you're going to want to do, and most people, the damage is going to be under $2,500 to fix it anyway. Okay. And their deductible might be $3,000. Okay. Well, then just fix my car, please. You're going to owe the money either way. You owe me either way. So either you pay me or you pay Turo. And then if you end up saying, hey, I'm not going to pay you, well, then you're going to owe Turo money. They're going to come after you for that money. You're going to owe them. And I didn't get anything for it.
Yeah.
You know, so let's do the right thing.
Hmm.
And that's why another point is when you're looking at, a lot of people say, oh, well, the guest declined insurance on their end. Okay. That's what we want them to do. We don't want, because that means that now they are 100% responsible for any damage to your car. Okay. There is no deductible on their end. Okay. They're 100% responsible. So you
Mm.
actually want the guest, okay, to be responsible because they're more likely to settle with you. Whereas if somebody has a $500 deductible, max out of pocket, maximum insurance on your car, well, guess what? They're not going to settle through you when they can just pay the $500 and be done with it. They're going to want to go through Turo, wouldn't they?
Hmm.
Okay, so we actually don't want the guests to have the coverage through Turo because that doesn't affect you. Your coverage plan is what affects you. So, for example, if there's $10,000 worth of damage to your car and they have a max out of pocket of $500, okay, all they got to do is pay $500 and they're good to go. Okay, now you have to pay your deductible. Like they're going to go through Turo in that instance, aren't they?
Hmm.
Because the max they have to pay is $500. And then you're out. You're not going to get, basically, you're going to have to pay your deductible in that situation. You're going to get however much it costs to fix it minus $2,500 is what you're going to get.
The only other thing I wanted to do was you can set the time, right? So
Okay, go to business. Oh, nope, host settings right there. Host settings. So
mm,
as of right now, you have 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.
okay.
pick up and drop off time. Okay.
Okay. So this is where I change it. All right.
For each day. And then
Right.
what you can do is I forget, I think I have 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. or something, or you can even go in 24-hour increments, like be open 24 hours. And then each night go in when you're done, each night go in and just mark yourself as unavailable. Right. See up.
Mm,
Yep. There you go.
mm,
I go as, basically you can go as always available. Okay. But then if you have a night where, hey, I'm, you know, the car's sitting here, it hasn't been booked for tonight. I don't want it to be booked for tomorrow morning and me not catch it. Before you go to bed,
right.
you scroll up, block availability. And you can pick, okay, there you go. And you can pick, okay, so from today, I don't want to get any more bookings tonight until tomorrow.
Hmm.
And that's what I do basically every night before I go to bed, so it doesn't get booked while I'm sleeping.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't care when they pick up or drop off. If they're going to book something for a month from now and they want to pick up at 5 in the morning, what do I care? I'll have the car ready for them. They can pick it up anytime. Here's how to do it. So you'll be in a lot more searches because a lot of people probably have their availability as like 10 a.m. or whatever, or 7 a.m. or
Yeah.
10 p.m. But you might have somebody that wants to pick it up at 11:30 p.m. And guess what? You're not going to show up in that search. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Yeah.
And then all you got to do is just block availability each night before you go to bed. If you don't want to take on any new guests. So you'll see some of my guests will drop the car off at 5 in the morning. Like, because I don't care. It's dropped off. I have 24 hours to go see it anyway. And to
Mm. So you don't use the set times.
no, I'm always available
Always available.
and then I just block it daily.
Mm.
You got to keep up on it, but
So basically, when you wake up, you log in here and set yourself to always available.
well, no, I leave it as always available all the time.
Okay.
But before I go to bed at night or when I'm done for the day and I don't like, I'm right before I go to bed, I just block the availability for that night during the time. So normally I go to like 10 a.m. I make it to where they can't book it until 10 a.m.
Okay.
just for like those hours where I'm going to be sleeping. I don't want, and I've had people like, didn't happen often, but I had somebody book my expedition. They came and picked up my car and I didn't even know it. I'm dead serious. And they picked it up and dropped it off and I didn't even know it. I didn't have time to add pictures, check the car in, nothing. It was just out there. I'm glad nobody got into a wreck, but yeah. So then I just started blocking it each night so I didn't run into that.
Okay. Actually, we have one question. So I'm leaving the license and registration. I mean, the registration and insurance in the car.
Yep. And the Turo incident card.
Okay.
And then also, you're going to want to get the car inspected. Does it say
So
that?
what does that mean? You got to do what?
You got to take it to somebody to have them inspected, and you can get it inspected online.
So you got to take the car to get an actual inspection and pay for an inspection
Yes.
that,
It's normally like $20. You can get one online for 40. It's like once a year. Yeah, you got to check tires got to be in certain shape. Yes. It's basically
so
verifying.
it's outside of it's outside of my normal state inspection.
Yes.
Hmm.
You might be able to use that state inspection. I don't know what's on the state inspection, but just Google Turo inspection
Hmm.
and you'll see there. I'm 100% sure it might not. Normally, on a new car, they give you a little while for you to get the first inspection, but at some point they're going to say that your annual inspection is due.
So won't I get a message or something? Hey, your vehicle
Yeah, you'll
requires
get
an
a
inspection.
yeah, you'll get a notification. Eventually, they're going to say, "Hey, we've delisted your car because you didn't get the inspection."
Mm, okay. And the Toro incident card you mentioned,
Yes.
is that somewhere accessible here?
Uh, Google what I need to have in Google Turo inspection, Turo incident card.
Okay.
So that goes in the car along with your registration. Okay. And along with your normal insurance card.
Okay. Cool.
And I normally keep the inspection in there too. I think that's supposed to be in there. But if you Google, you know, if you go on to Turo and you read the terms of service, it tells you that you have to have those things located somewhere inside of the car.
Yeah.
Gotta give them access to that, because if they get pulled over, they've got to verify that.
So yeah, I mean it's an annual deal and it's an annual inspection.
Right.
So you have to, yeah, I mean you have to have a mechanic do this because I don't think
Yeah, you can do them online. There's ways that they do them online and everything, dude. It's not a big deal. But these are,
Mhm.
I mean, you're not going to want to send a car out unless you have somebody look at it anyway. Right.
Yeah.
And you could get somebody like, I've got, it doesn't have to be an actual certified mechanic. You could just take it to some shop, like a muffler shop or a tire shop. Say, hey, when you're getting tires or when you're getting some sort of work done, like like the place that I get tires at, anytime I get tires, I always have them do an inspection anyway, and they do it for free. I mean, it takes like no time to do. And
Mhm.
like even places that do your oil change, okay, like
Yeah.
just have them look it over. Hey, will you fill out this inspection for me? And a lot of them will do it, no cost. But yeah, you got to have that done, and it doesn't have to be like an actual certified mechanic. It could just be, somebody else that's looking at your vehicle that's verifying that it's in, safe condition.
So this has got to be in the car to start.
No, because you don't even have one required.
Right.
But I always leave the copy in the car.
Okay. Got it.
Once you get one and one's required, I just take a picture of it. I have it on file.
All right.
All right. So that's everything that needs to go in the car. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to have it be a perfect listing, right? Even
Right.
if you don't have welcome messages or none of that set up, okay, you can learn as you go. Turn it on, let the thing get booked, okay, and you know, go from there. I
Yeah.
wouldn't worry about having all my automatic messages set up. I would just turn it on, man. List it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let's see what happens.
Hmm.
I take, most of my cars normally after I book them, like normally towards the end of the week and the weekend, you'll get like a booking. Okay. But typically it's within a couple of days, I get some sort of a booking on it
Hmm.
after I book it, and sometimes immediately.
Okay.
And then once you get a booking, let's do another call so I can show you how the booking looks and how to navigate and do that. All right, man.
All right. Talk to you
I
later.
bet you as soon as you book it, I'm going to give it 3 days and you'll have a booking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, within a couple
All
of days.
right.
All right, man.
All right. Later. Thank you.
Later.